Hey guys, welcome back to In The Endrows, the podcast where we talk to farmers and modders alike. This week, I'm really happy to be joined by Ross W. Say hey, Ross.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. How about yourself? What have you been up to today?
Well, not a whole lot today. I actually had a precision ag class today, and we learned about precision planning, where we really kind of got to see how different row units worked off different brands of equipment.
Nice.
That was kind of interesting.
Have you done any farming this week?
Not this week, but this past weekend we got the planter ready to go and the finisher, so did a little bit of test tillage, but other than that, not a whole lot during the week.
Nice. That's cool.
All right.
All right. Uh, what is So I've got questions, and for you in particular, I've got a few questions that aren't quite I haven't asked other people because you're very public with what you do in farming. You make videos, you publish things, you're in all sorts of things. So I guess I've got a couple questions for you.
Okay.
So, so what is? We're gonna go out of order from how I normally do this because I kind of want to ask, like, what is your situation with farming? You're around it a lot, you talk about it a lot, but what is your deal right now? Like
Okay.
how do you whose farm is it? How did you know about it and how did you get into it and what are you doing to stay active in it? That sort of deal.
Okay, so it's kind of similar to tired iron modding in a way. He grew up in suburbs, and so did I. I am originally from Lincoln, Nebraska,
Mhm.
and it's actually my grandfather's farm, and we farm. Well, he farms in southeast South Dakota, and that it's about a 3-hour drive from my hometown.
Right.
And I've just ever since I was a kid, I've always been interested in farming. I loved going up to the farm, especially during the fall. Kind of experience harvest and it's just something I've always been interested in. And I also have most of my family is actually from South Dakota.
Mhm.
And when I graduated high school, I actually was planning for several years. I wanted to attend South Dakota State University and
Mhm.
major in some sort of ag field. And I chose to do precision agriculture. And what this allows me to do is I am learning a lot more about, like auto steer, field view, yield monitors, just how everything works
Mhm.
on on a more technical level. And what that also allows me to do is I'm around my family a lot more, and I'm about less. It's less than half the distance to the farm than it was from Lincoln.
Ah.
So I can go. I've been going down there every weekend, and I've been a lot more active since before. And like I run grain cart and I run the truck and pretty much everything else besides like the combine.
That's
So,
awesome.
being near the farm, my grandpa is actually getting, he's getting up there in years now, and me being closer to the farm now allows me to help him out quite a bit more since he is starting to reach that point in his life where he's gonna need some help pretty quick here.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool. So you're going to school for precision ag. Do you have any idea what you'd like to do with that degree?
Um, it's kind of up in the air as of now, but I think the main plan, and I've been talking to my grandpa about this, is I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is probably work at our local John Deere dealership,
Mhm.
and probably just work as like a tech guy there, and then I can use that as my full time job, and then move out near the farm and rent maybe 80 acres or so, and then I could get a jump start in farming as a part time as well. So then, if he needs help or anything, um, I'll be right there to help him and anybody else in the area. And then obviously I'll be using his equipment to start out, but I'll still be paying for like all my own land and my seed and fertilizer, and I'll still be learning how to really run a farm at the same time that I'll be learning how to work with the precision ag technology that most farmers are using today.
Hey, that's really cool. That's kind of a unique opportunity you've got there. Uh,
Oh yeah,
yeah, I hope that works out for you. That's awesome.
yeah,
Um,
that's the plan.
yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. So, what does your grandpa farm?
Um, he farms 400 acres of just corn and soybeans. We don't have any livestock anymore. He when I was a kid, and back in the day, he actually had about well, he had several jobs at one time, um, and he started out with 600 acres, and I think it was about 40 head of beef
Mm-hmm.
cattle, and then he also had like I think he had sows and geese and some other animals. And he did all this while he was teaching in school, and he was the football coach, and he was a wrestling and a track coach,
Oh.
and he farmed by himself for the longest time. And he was doing all this back in his heyday, but now that he's retired from school and all that, he's got he's downsized to 400 acres now.
Mm-hmm.
And since I'm not there all the time, it's kind of nice to just run 400 acres because it's pretty good size for him and I to work with
Yeah.
since I'm only there part of the time.
Right. That's a pretty manageable size. You can
Yep.
almost do it by yourself, but you need some help. That's pretty good,
Yep.
and it works really well with the equipment he has already.
Oh yeah,
So,
sure does. Yep.
all right. So that's your history with ag. That's really cool because you're very public with it. You've got a unique kind of story behind it. But how did you get into Farming Simulator?
Um, Kind of a funny story. It was years ago. It was probably 2012 or 2013. Um, I used to just as a kid, I would play on my mom's iPad and I would watch YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I stumbled upon a video of Farming Simulator 2011, and it was called like Dancing Tractor or something like that. And this guy had like a Deutz tractor just spinning in the air,
Yeah.
and that's when I was like, "There's a farming simulator."
Mm-hmm.
So then, me being just a dumb little kid, not knowing anything about it, I thought it was the same thing on the tablet as well. So
Oh
I
yeah.
I actually started with FS 2012
Ooh.
and I worked through it. I think shortly after I got FS 14 came out, and I played with that, and that's when I started to kind of learn about mods and like I really watched a lot of R.D. Allen as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite series was his Westbridge Hills series on 2013, and that's when I kind of started to learn that there was a lot more potential on the computer. So I ended up getting it on. My family had like a Mac
Yeah.
computer, and I ended up getting it on that, and I put hours and hours into FS13 on both on Westbridge Hills, and then once I figured out how to install mods, I also played on Salem, South Dakota quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so just a lot of that, and let's see what else. I also did go back to FS11, and I just kind of played with things until I ended up getting my own laptop, and then it was a Windows.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I started to really FS15 had come out, and that's when I started to just kind of tinker with mods.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just really trying to convert mods from 13 to 15. I just tried to convert a few John Deeres, and I kind of started to figure it out, but I was still a ways away from things.
Yeah.
But I started to kind of get a knowledge of XML and all that, and then in 17 is when I really started to kind of throw things together. And one thing about me is I'm not like other like big name modders who make their own models and all that. I started out with just throwing a bunch of parts together, like I'm sure most of us have.
Mm-hmm.
I know you certainly had when you started. I with your 40 series,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's kind of how we all started. And I think my first accomplishment was I kind of threw together a pretty crappy John Deere 4760 in 17. And after that, I converted the 8820 combine
Mm-hmm.
to 17 with zero errors and all that.
Nice.
Little overscaled, but I got it converted, so I
Yep.
was pretty proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably mid to end of 17 when I started tinkering with Blender.
Mm.
And I have a pretty good amount of knowledge in Blender, but one thing I can't really do is make big models from scratch. It's always little things here and there.
Right.
So a majority of my actual like mods that I release are just edits of other mods, which a lot of mods nowadays are because everything started out as like one model
Yep.
back in like '09 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so most of my mods, I do actually do quite a bit of modeling, just like small things, but a lot of the mods are also thrown together pieces of other mods, and that's kind of an extent of how I've gotten into modding, and I have done like partner things with NEFG modding. We brought a Brent wagon into the game
Yeah,
for
I remember
19.
that. That was the first gravity wagon we all really had. Or no,
Yeah, I was.
Was it the DMI that was first?
Well, I actually made
I
the
think they were
DMI.
close. Oh, really?
I made I made the DMI in 17. I
Oh, okay.
I was the original, and I didn't actually make models in Blender. I went into Giants Editor and I took these cubes and made them one color, and then I kind of built the extension, and then I threw it into Blender and made it all one model, and
Is,
had another guy bake it for me.
is that how the
So,
DMI? Is that how the DMI was made?
yep,
The
that's
big
exactly
little?
how it.
That's
Yep,
hilarious. I didn't know
yep,
that. This is why we
yeah,
do these cuz we don't know
I
these
know.
stories. This is hilarious. I'm
That.
not trying to offend you or anything. I just think that's really
Oh no.
funny. I had no clue.
Yeah, I was pretty proud of that, and I also made like the block frame for it. I just put blocks together in Giants Editor, threw it into Blender, and made it one model.
I mean,
So
it worked.
it did, and it was obviously it was just a build of the J&M. I deleted like the original frame for the J&M and all that,
Yeah.
but so it started in 17, and then somebody converted it to 19. I don't know who it
I,
was,
I think it was
but
tired. It was tired iron, wasn't it, or something?
no, it was some random guy. He
Oh, oh, you're right. It just kind of show up out of nowhere,
I think
unannounced.
he threw it in the mod converter or something like that.
Yeah. It
And,
came out rough,
but
but I think it was the first gravity wagon everybody had, so everybody was using it.
yep, yep, and it didn't steer correctly either.
No, it did
That was
not.
the funny thing. Well, then, yeah, NEFG helped me out with this wagon.
Yeah,
Um, it was a 757 off of Polygonish, which I think he doesn't like people, releasing his mods in FS, but you paid for it,
sure.
might as well. And
Yeah,
I turned it into. We have two Brent 644 wagons, and I turned it into a 644, and then NEFG he used it because I didn't know how to do that,
right.
and then I in-gamed it, and then what's his name, AAA modding got the steering working right, and we just kind of pieced it all together, and first decent gravity wagon out there for 19.
Yeah. No, I remember. I was really excited when that came out. I think I sent you a meme or something.
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
uh, it was a while ago.
No,
I've
it's
got a couple
fine.
names. Um, yeah, it was a little while ago. I can't quite
I can't
remember if
remember
it was
where I
19.
posted it, but I made a meme about it, man. Because that
I think
was
yeah,
the DMI was fine, but it's kind of an obscure small American wagon. You
yeah,
don't see them all
yep.
over the place, but
And
everybody
it
knows the
wasn't.
Brents and sees
Yeah,
big Brents.
it
So
was. Yeah, sorry. It wasn't even like a full on DMI either. It was just like a build off the J&M, so it wasn't 100% correct either.
yeah.
Uh, I just built the extension and then the frame, and then it kind of looked like a DMI to me.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So
there's still people using it.
yeah,
It's still
I've
out
seen
there.
that. Then of course Tired Iron, he built his DMI Big Little from scratch, which is way better than mine.
Right.
And
Okay.
I think he did that. He did that in like a day. I
Mm-hmm.
remember we were in Discord and I watched him build it, and by like the next day it was in gamed and all done. He's like, okay.
Yeah, he was talking about how he gets kind of laser focused on stuff, so he must have had a
it
stroke of luck there.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous how focused he gets about things.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when he made the first Westby, Wisconsin. He was I think he was home from college
Mm-hmm.
over winter break a couple years ago, and we're in Discord almost every day in our
Yeah.
little group, and he made that map in a week time by himself.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. The roads and all that weren't the greatest, but for being himself making it in a week's time, it was pretty dang good.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show he keeps like showing this laser focus with everything that he creates, and it's just incredible to see the things that he can create in Blender now that he learned how to use it all the
Mm-hmm.
way. It's just incredible to see what he can accomplish
Yeah.
with his focus and his dedication to the game.
Right. Well, sometimes I'm impressed at what you accomplish. Like, cause.
I am too. uh,
Oh man.
Sometimes I'm not sure about what I'm doing, but then it just kind of works out.
Right.
And
So, yeah, because what have you done in 19 so far? You did those 644 gravity wagons.
yep.
You
And
did
after that,
the
uh,
7000, the 7010 series.
I did the two-wheel drive version. It was just an Americanization, if you will, of the Euro one.
Right.
But I put a lot of work into it. And we have a 7800, so I took really good sounds from it. I looked at the front axle, tried to get everything as close as I could. The American. I even like remodeled the interior a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then after I released that, that's when Deniz appeared,
Mm-hmm.
and he sent me a message. He's like, "Hey, can I convert this to front wheel assist?" And I was like, "Sure, go ahead." And that's how he kind of built his fan base and his name, even
Right.
off because he continued that series on where I stopped.
Mm-hmm. And I remember he was asking me how to U-dim the front axle when he was doing that. So I know that time frame.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was because I was showing off
Yeah,
my stuff at that time, and he was asking me how to UDIM, and for some reason he couldn't get it to work, and I didn't have access to his computer or anything. But yeah, I remember that time. So.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, and then he just kind of built his way up. And I also, so we were going back to what else I've done here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. I actually made a American 7930 John Deere after our
Yep.
7930,
Yep.
and I kept it private for the longest time because it was like a full-on copy of ours. And then I sent it off to him, and he wanted to make a whole pack out of it, so he did. Then he released that, and it's just like these little partnership things that kind of made him take off as well.
Yeah.
And and then let's see, the large frame. Um, the large frame is probably the best thing I've done for 19. Obviously not the most accurate, and I did get a little hate from another big modding name for using parts from other mods that he claimed, you know, he made and whatnot, which is
Right.
true. It is true to an extent, but it's also a remodel of original models.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it had been public for like 5+ years.
Yeah.
So, large frame is piecing together of a lot of different mods, and then I modeled like the quad range shifter. I animated everything. I got the screens working. I got some decent sounds, and I just made like an 8 tractor pack out of it.
Yeah.
And Deniz did the front wheel assist part of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I did everything else, and then he put together the front wheel assist options to it,
Mm-hmm.
and I UDIM the front axle for him again because I wanted to see.
It's those
Um,
darn front axles.
yeah,
Yep.
something about him. But so that's how the large frame was born, and then I did a ways off. I did a version 2 as well, a final version,
Mm-hmm.
and then AAA released a really nice large frame pack, and so did Cunningham Modding. So there's a lot of different large frames out there.
Right. I like your version though. I
Well, I
do.
appreciate that.
I do use it. I was using it in
Yep.
my screenshots on my page as of recently. So
Okay.
yeah. No,
Um,
that's very cool.
well, I think the one thing people like about it is how many options I put into it.
Yeah.
I put as many as I could into that thing that were factory options.
People
I
love
wanted, I wanted
options.
the whole, yeah, I wanted the whole thing to be in one package. So,
Right. You want to feel like you're going back in time and buying a brand new deer. And you're like, well,
right,
what were my
right,
options back then? What could I
right.
get? What did John Deere offer? What did the dealer offer? Exactly.
Exactly, exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
No, that's really
Um,
cool.
yeah, and I actually do have. I will put a little teaser in here. I
Mm-hmm.
do have another mod. I've been working with Tired Iron Modding. It's the thing about me is I take long breaks, and I'm not as dedicated to the game anymore as I used to be. And I'm in college at the same time.
Right.
I don't have laser focus like Tired Iron. He can do this stuff in his sleep while he's doing homework.
Yeah.
Um, I don't. I don't have that. I don't have that in my blood or whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so, but over winter break, Tired Iron and I actually started another project,
Ooh.
and the model I think is actually pretty much done. I just have to throw it in game, and I think he might in game it. I'm not sure, but I made decals for it. He made the model. It's a grain cart pack. Um,
Ooh.
it's a Demco Posiflow grain cart pack.
Oh, nice.
And because well we have a Demco cart in real life, we've actually had two. Um, one in the past, and now we picked up a second Demco last fall. So
I'm
I kind of wanted to make a cart pack, so I did, or so we are, I guess.
nice. See, you've listened to this here, guys. Breaking news on this show. You get the sneak peeks. You get the behind the scenes. Well, I
Right.
know from my, I know only about 25% of people are still listening this far into the videos. So That's fine. It's fine. What? How do you
That's
spell
okay.
that? I'm gonna look that up right now. Demco.
Yeah, Demco, and then it's Posi Flow, so just POSI Flow.
I gotta look this up. Oh, very cool. Is it one of the
Yep.
older style ones or one of the newer styled ones?
It's kind of mid 2000s. It would be, I don't know the years on that, but it would be kind of on the old side of the new side, is what I'd say.
Cool. Okay, yeah,
Um,
I'm looking at
and
something that looks similar.
yeah, it'll be 550 through 750. So 550, 650, 750 is the
Ooh,
plan. We're gonna have two tire options, and it's you can either buy it in red or green, and they'll be in real life they're color matched to Case and John Deere, so that'll be
right.
the same
They
thing
give
in
you
game.
the yellow rims or they give you the gray rims to match them
Yep,
up.
yep.
So these are
Our
the
first
yeah.
Demco, yeah, our first Demco was a red one, and our second one now is a green one.
Ah,
So
nice.
we've had both colors. The thing about the red Demcos is if you park them out too long, they'll fade to pink.
Oh, really?
So yeah, you have to park them inside, otherwise they fade to pink in real life. So
Mmm. I see. We don't have that in Farming Sim yet. There's another thing you can add to the
nope,
next game, Giants. Come on. Paint fade.
maybe something like the wear texture. I could turn it to pink or something like that.
All right, yeah. There you go. You might be able to manage that. Oh, yeah, so that's
Maybe
pretty
something.
cool. That's a corner unload. So it's got the corner auger
Yep.
instead of the side auger, so it's got that that's sort of nice. That's a little
Hmm.
nicer on things and oh, cool. So, yeah, that's very nice. We don't have one of those and like some of those and we are missing some of those smaller grain cart options, right? It feels like sometimes when you're
Right.
playing farming sim. Well, the Kinseys in game are pretty all right, but it feels like you're kind of stuck with the really big stuff that they give you.
Yep.
Like we've got the
Yep.
Brent. There's a Brent gravity. There's a Brent auger wagon that's pretty popular, and some of the stuff in game is really big. They've got smaller stuff, but I think the smaller one in game is a Brazilian one. That orange and green one. So
Yeah, it
something
is.
something
Yep.
like that. So yeah, that'll be really cool. I bet people will be looking forward to that. You got duels. Will that be an option?
I don't think on the duels because I've seen a few pictures of them, but
Mm-hmm.
I suppose I could consider it. Um, I've never actually seen a grain cart with duels in real life, but I have seen pictures of them.
Right. Yeah, they're not super
So
common. Pretty
yeah,
specific application, but
yeah,
that's cool.
yeah. I was just planning like regular tread or
Mm-hmm.
diamond tread.
Ooh, there you
So
go. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Diamond is definitely a classic on some of those field vehicles.
oh yeah.
That's awesome. So, is that the only new thing you're working on? Do you have any other ideas?
Yeah, that's about it for now, unfortunately. Like I said before, I'm in college, kind of
Right.
lost dedication. I'm in one of those valleys right now. I kind of got to get up the hill again.
Yeah, the
Um,
entire community is kind of in a valley right now.
yeah, but Tired Iron just keeps plugging away.
Yep.
Yeah, he's
Some
about the only guy that keeps going. But
yeah. Well, besides your customs and your JHGs and
oh yeah, yeah,
all those people, they
all
don't
the big
stop.
guys.
I came back at the worst possible time when
Yeah,
everything was
yeah.
slowing down.
I was gonna say you were gone for was it 2 years or was it
Year and a half, I think.
year and a half? Okay, because I
Be-
remember you made a like a meme post with Aladdin or something,
I
and
did.
then a year later, here you are.
I just came out of nowhere.
You're making stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting a podcast, and you got all these things going for you.
I'm going whole ham.
Oh
So,
yeah,
yeah, I don't.
beginning.
It was I don't know, cause I started modding early 2019. The I remember I've explained this story before, and I think I that was the last semester of my senior year of college. I
Okay.
don't know why I picked then to start modding, but I did. It was actually one of my lighter semesters because I wanted to give myself a break when it was all over and said and done. It was one of my lower credit loads. So
Mhm.
that was nice. I used my spare time to start doing that and then, after I graduated, it was moving away, it was getting a job, it was, doing life on your own and I just kind of I just like needed to reorganize things in my life to, get started, get things going, but and so that was about summer 2019. I always had the community in the corner of my eye. You know, whenever I got on Facebook, I would see stuff people were doing. I almost never interacted, but I was the ultimate lurker for a while. But I mean, I guess I just decided to come back because I kind of got my life is a little more sorted out now. I've kind of figured out how to do this thing. I've got settled in my job and all this other stuff, and obviously with the pandemic, it you know there's less to do, and especially in the middle of winter. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean that's how I got back.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you back.
Yeah.
I didn't think honestly, I didn't know if you were ever gonna come back or not. A lot of people just kind of were like, "Oh, remember Rooster? Yeah, what happened to him? Oh, he's gone. No one knows where he is."
No, I didn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
even like say anything.
yeah, no, sometimes people get in that way, and my modding page is kind of that way right now. I just like post links to my YouTube videos, and then whatever else is going on, like share posts. But
Yep.
I don't really say anything to anybody.
No, I
Um,
mean, it's sometimes it's best to not to say anything because again, you don't want to overpromise things.
right,
I told
right.
people I would do that 46 and 48-40 forever, but by the time I came back, that stuff was already kind of done, and I didn't want to
Yeah,
just jump back into the place I got burnt out, and that's another reason I left. I just got burnt out. I I didn't know I wasn't talking to anybody else in the community except Tyson occasionally. I didn't have any contacts. I didn't have any help for what I was doing, and I think I combine all that stuff. Part of that was also just getting burned out. So, you know, I
right.
was just, and I didn't want to come back and immediately start working on the thing I got burned out on, especially when there are some already pretty decent versions of the stuff I was doing, better versions of the stuff I was doing out there than what I have. So I just decided to jump into different stuff.
Right. Yeah. We've all been through that too.
Yep.
We've been burned out. Tried to jump into something else. Um, but yeah, definitely farm sim is a modding is a great way to pass your spare time, especially with the pandemic. So it was definitely something that kept me going through the pandemic, just on and off. Not nearly as much as I used to, but
Yeah.
um, I definitely still like the large frame and whatever else. Just tinkering with mods just kind of soothes the soul as long as everything is working correctly. But sometimes, giants, their game just doesn't work for no reason.
Right.
So
Yeah.
those
Nope.
moments you want to just quit and never come back. And
Yeah.
we've all been through that.
We've all
Yep.
been there. We've all been
Oh yeah.
there. And if you haven't been burned out yet, if you're lucky enough to not have been there, just wait till the day you do.
It'll happen.
You got to battle through though. But it's a really rewarding experience, and it's a really rewarding community. So you know that's why I
Oh yeah.
came back. That's why I keep doing it. Couldn't leave it.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, couldn't leave it. So well, let's see. So you've been making a lot of farming videos recently. You've got some nice footage. What got you into like putting your farming stuff on YouTube?
Well, it was probably 2015 or so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 2015, 2014, somewhere in there. I actually originally created the channel to make farm sim videos like Artie Allen, but I didn't have a good setup for that. And then I was gonna do some other things. I was a middle school kid, so I had some cringy ideas in mind. And if you go back far enough, I still have some old videos up of other games and whatnot.
Oh, I gotta see
Um,
that.
no, you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to. I keep them up just for the memories. But
Right.
so, anyways, I kind of got into the whole farming thing with how farms work.
Ooh, yeah, that's a
Um,
good channel.
I started watching him back in 2015,
Mm-hmm.
and I showed his videos to my grandpa, and I said, hey, that could be kind of cool if we did something like that. And what was it, Harvest 2015? I was just there, and I had a little flip camera, and we like put a toolbox in the back of the Ranger and mount just kind of braced it up somehow, and I just drove that around the field while he uh, harvested soybeans that day. And that's kind of how the whole farming part of my channel was born. Was from watching how farms work in that first video I took just driving the Ranger around that day,
Oh,
and
cool.
I slowly started to upgrade cameras. I got a GoPro, like the basic Hero, the original.
Mm-hmm.
I had that for the longest time, and then I would use my flip camera. Then I switched to my iPhone, GoPro, and I got a drone in 2018.
Yep.
And 2019, I got a, let's see, upgraded GoPro, drone, and iPhone as well. But then 2020 is when I switched to, I kind of use different cameras, but 2020 is when I switched to just GoPro and drone now to keep it simple. And as times have changed, how farms work is not, like he said, he's not the big thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like Millennial Farmer and all these other guys who they do kind of more of a vlog style of video.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've changed my editing style to be more of like a vlog style. And then, of course, when the drone footage comes in, I put as much effort as I can into that part of it because I really enjoy flying the drone. And I like to make that part of the video as neat as possible. And unfortunately, my channel, well, I peaked in 2018, is what
Yeah.
I like to say. I gained a ton of subscribers. I passed 1,000. The world looked like it was going to be amazing. I had several thousand views every harvest video, and then it's been downhill from there. I've been doing the same things. I've been posting more than I have in the past, and my views are way down now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Granted, I've passed 2,000 subscribers, which I was really excited for that. I think I'm at 2.3 thousand now, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate the people who still watch my videos. So yeah, I think I get maybe like a couple hundred views per video now. I have to figure out clickbait ways to get people back, I suppose.
The YouTube algorithm is a cruel mistress. One day you'll be
It
riding
really
high and
is.
it'll be giving you to everybody, and the next day it'll just forget you and you feel like your videos are going nowhere.
Yep, it really is, and
Yep.
there's nothing you can do about it.
Nope. It just decides. It just
Yep,
picks.
but I'll keep doing it for as long as I can. It gives me joy, and my grandpa he loves to watch the drone footage. So as long as he likes what I'm doing, which sometimes I get yelled at for having the camera out. You put that away. You got something to do. Um, but sometimes it's like that. But in the end, it's all worth it because he really likes to see the footage, and he and everybody else in my family kind of likes to see the recap because not everybody can be at the farm all the time.
Right.
So
Right.
it's not just for the people who are out there watching. It's also so we can remember how things went, and so my family can see how things are going.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't think about
Yep.
it from that perspective before, but yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I think it's more for the family now, more than anything, because I don't get a whole lot of views. But I've also switched to Instagram, and I've got a pretty good base there. And I've actually met a lot of other farming Instagram guys in the area, like up in northern South Dakota, northwest Iowa, central Iowa, wherever else. And
Nice.
also one thing I will mention, uh, when I started out with Farm Sim, I actually met a guy named Matt Schott, and we actually became pretty good buddies because he went to state here,
Mm-hmm.
and he's from Wisconsin, but he actually went to South Dakota State, and I kind of told him, where my family's from and all that, and I planned on going to state, and he's a senior here this year, but we've known each other for maybe 4 or 5 years, and we got 1 year of school in together, so that's kind
Nice.
of cool.
Yeah.
Know somebody right out the gate that I've known for such a long time. I remember the first time we met up; it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's all about the
Yeah.
connections we make along the way, and that's nope. Shout out to Matt. Uh,
Yeah. Shout out to Matt.
yeah, I went to school with the squad.
Really?
Yep, we both went to Iowa State University.
I'll be darned.
I met him a couple times because I
That,
think that was again. This is all early FS19, but I think he. I don't know. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but he mentioned. I think he reached out to me, or I reached out to him because we noticed we went to the same school. I mentioned something about it on my personal profile, and we had lunch a couple times, and he kind of used my mods in some of his videos, and they were good mods at the time, so that was nice. But it kind of fell off that train when I graduated and left and quit modding at all. So I don't know if
oh,
he's out there. I don't know if he'd ever want to be on this show, but hey, the squad, if you're listening, I'd love to
I'm
have
sure.
you on.
I'm sure he would, and I actually have connections to him, so
Oh, there you
I
go.
could, I could, I could see he actually started farming this year.
Oh yeah, I
He
saw that.
bought a farm. He just bought a planter. He's been asking me a lot of questions. He watches my videos.
Ooh,
He met me through using my mods as well, and so every now and then I talk to him, and he asked me questions about the farm, and like he was asking me when he was looking for a tractor, he was asking me about our 7930,
Yeah.
and he was asking what kind of planter he should get. Um, so I've been kind of pointing him in the right direction, and now he's got a planter and he's all set to go. It looks like,
Yeah. Get a.
and yeah. So every now and then I talk to him, and then actually there's another guy, the rental man Buck, who
Mm-hmm.
is one of the guys in his videos. He is actually, well, I'm from southeast Nebraska. He actually lives about 30 miles northwest of where I live.
Oh.
So I've met up with him a couple times. We've had dinner, and we've talked about um, a lot of different farming things, farming wise. And actually, the mouse pad I'm using right now, he works for a equipment dealer. I think it's Vermeer or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
the mouse pad I'm using right now, he actually gave it to me from their. It's an old one from their dealership from 2020, I think. So
Oh, that's
um,
awesome.
yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
No, that's
Yeah,
sweet. And it's amazing how many connections, I've made in this community and I've seen people make in this community. It all goes around, you
it
know?
really does. It really does. A lot of people just meet out of the blue, and then one day you're like, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you're that guy." Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Yeah. I moved from central Iowa to Omaha when I
Oh, really?
graduated. So yeah, I'm not even that far away from you.
You're in Omaha.
Yep. I am.
Okay. Well, if I'm well, in the summer we might have to meet up sometime.
Yeah, that oh for sure. Absolutely. We got to
Yeah.
make that
When I,
happen. I
I
should.
actually have a buddy over in Council Bluffs that I also met through Farming Simulator. So we've met at the Denny's on I-80 south of Omaha a few times.
Yep, I know where that is.
Yeah.
No,
Might
cool.
have
Yeah. We got
might
to
have to
make that
grab a
happen.
bite sometime. Yeah.
No, that's
That'd be
awesome.
pretty cool.
See, look at
Yeah.
this. Connections happening in real time, people.
I know, that's crazy.
Oh, all right. So, on the topic of modding, do you have a modding unicorn? Something you've always wanted to do, something you've always thought of, but you couldn't quite get together or get around to or get figured out? Is there something, the elusive, a mythical mod you've always been chasing but haven't gotten or have always dreamed of having?
Well, I guess there is one. I've kind of really only ever wanted to make like our farm equipment setup,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I've done. I've done a few things here and there as well, kind of on the outside. But the one thing I really wanted to do to kind of complete this whole thing was to make my grandpa's farm in
Yeah.
19. And funny story, I actually have a map. It's like a 4x,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a 4x for the scenery. I put the boundaries inside, so it's like a 1x on a 4x for like extended scenery.
Oh, gotcha.
And I've actually put a lot of work into that map. It's probably, it looks like it's 75% done, but it's probably more like 50, because, well, the foliage files weren't converted correctly. You have to,
Mm.
if it's a 4x, you got to make them larger. Otherwise, whenever you do field work, your game lags.
Right, right.
So, in order to do this, I would have to start over. But I have started this map several times, and I'm just not a mapper.
Yeah, no.
But
Me either.
like I was talking to Tired Iron about maybe finishing it and whatnot. MB Farms actually helped me get quite a bit done on it. But then also there was a individual that reached out to me, Sam Bozer. He
Mm.
was gonna finish the map, and I'm not entirely sure what happened. But I sent it off to him, but it hasn't been completed. So I'm sure one day I'll get the map finished at some point in time.
No, so
But
the Ross W map, like of your
yeah,
so have you built your farm and everything, like the local landscape and all that?
yep, the rolling hills of southeast South Dakota, all the terraces, everything.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's all on a 4x, but fortunately, I'd have to do a lot of stuff to go back
Right.
before I'd go forward again. So,
Yep. No, but
yeah,
that's really cool. I didn't even know that existed. Maybe we'll get
yeah,
to plan it someday. Maybe.
maybe that's a fat chance, but we'll see. Yeah,
No, that
yeah,
that's really cool. So,
yeah. I kind of just kept it to myself, but and just a few friends.
sure, sure.
But
But
yeah, no, I think originally Sam he reached out. He didn't know that it existed either. He wanted to make the whole thing from scratch because he watched my videos.
mhm.
But then I told him, yeah, no, I've got a pretty good thing going here right now if you want to finish it. And I'm not, again, I'm not sure. I think he got busy, is what he told me,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
later on, maybe like in 21, it'll happen. But it's kind of the same thing. Like Ethan Clark kind of made his own map.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Similar situation, but his got finished. It's the only difference.
Yeah, that's funny, and that's really cool. Yeah, no, the mapping is a whole nother thing. I don't claim to be a knowledgeable mapper or anything. I can do some things. I don't know anything about mapping, so
Yeah.
no, that's pretty cool. Is there any piece of equipment that's missing from the farm setup you're familiar with? Your farm setup?
I suppose a few little things. I have the whole harvest set up for the most part.
Yeah.
I need the Demco cart yet. Um, I think I got to make a proper J&M cart as well because we have a J&M as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I have the truck, I have the wagons, I got all yeah, I got all the tractors, I got the combine headers. I think what I'd need is I need a Westfield auger, I need like the tillage equipment, and then we have a 12 row planter. It's not a John Deere 1760, it's a 1765.
Oh, yeah. There's a slight difference there.
So that's another unicorn I'd kind of want to get done is it's a 1765 planter instead of
Yep.
a 1760. I'd really like to see that in game
I think
sometime.
it's incredible um, how many Midwestern farmers, modders, and players there are for Farming Sim, and we still don't have a good 12 row pull type John Deere
I
planter.
know
Isn't
it.
it? Tyson teases me about it all the time.
He
And
does.
here's the thing I know JHG has already, you've seen the 3 point planter He's made
Yep.
their own units, he's made the decals, he's made all the things for it. But
Hmm.
that just needs to be because it I don't know if I don't know if any modder wants to do all that work again because it's there. Maybe somebody could get his permission to use what he made and then put it on a 12 row frame. The 12 row everybody uses is fine, but I don't know if it's what you would want to work off of or if you would want to start from scratch. You know the one I'm talking about?
I think so. There was like what was it? The king of modding, like Nagstead, made all these.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
made it. He made a 1760, and that's been converted through all the games.
That's the one I'm talking
So
about, yeah.
yeah, I suppose that's probably the one.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. I know who was it? Was it LR Modding that was doing some John Deere planters? Do you remember who that
Uh,
was?
I'm
Somebody.
not sure.
I don't remember, but somebody's working on them now. I have to go find out who that is. But
That would be great if they could do that. And then the 1765, same exact thing as 1760, just upgraded technology.
yeah.
And it has instead of bushel and a half boxes, it's got 3 bushel boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just little things here and there that Deere has upgraded on them.
Right. Right.
That's different from the 1760, but
Yeah.
pretty much almost exactly the same.
Either way, this community is long overdue for some fresh pull type 1700 series John Deere planters.
I agree with that. I think that's something that this community really needs.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good point. What kind of you mentioned tillage? What kind of tillage stuff does your farm use?
So we do just regular conventional tillage. There's a lot of guys who do no-till in our area, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's about half and half, and it's same for like case and deer. You see about half and half. But
Yep.
so let's see. He has a Landau disc. I think it's a 6230,
Okay.
and then we have a field finisher or field cultivator. It's a Sunflower 6333,
Oh yeah,
and
sunflower.
yep, that's what we got running this past weekend. The disc we used in the fall.
Yep.
But finisher, it's kind of you can go 6 miles an hour with it, and it just breaks it up a little more.
Yep.
Run that in front of the planter, like I don't know, even the same day, and then you can plant right into the ground.
Right. Yeah.
Fine.
You
Yep.
got to prep that seed bed. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Often you have the cultivator and the planter running at the same time. Sometimes in the same field. Most of the time in different fields. But yep, not far behind.
Yep. For
Oh
sure.
no, that's really cool. Oh goodness. What kind of what are your personal go-to mods when you play Farming Sim? Do you use a lot of your own mods? Are there some mods you use all the time?
Um. Yeah. To be honest, I don't really play the game much anymore. But when I
Right.
do hop on, I I do use a few of my mods. Like I use the Gravity Wagon,
Mm-hmm.
and probably, well, I use a few of my tractors, but I also like to let's see, what else do I use? Tide Iron Modding. I use some of his stuff. He's made some tractors and whatnot that
Mm-hmm.
haven't been released. I don't think.
Ooh.
So I use some of his stuff as
Mm-hmm.
well. I think those are the two main ones. Um, oh, I do use AAA Modding's header pack,
Oh yeah.
the 6F series. I use that, and then Sid's combines. I use
Yep.
those.
Yep.
Those are go to. All of his combines are go to.
They are.
Yeah. So Sid modding. I don't use any NEFG. I probably should, but I don't. If he listens to this podcast, he'd probably be mad at me. But
Well, I'm gonna
yeah.
send this to him
So
directly after now.
oh
I'm gonna
no, don't do
timestamp it.
that. Don't do that.
No, it's a good time. So
Yeah. So I think main ones: Sid modding, Tired Iron,
yep.
myself, and AAA.
No, yeah, that's really cool.
Yep.
Do you do the same kind of farming, and when you do play, do you do the same kind of farming in Farming Sim that you do in real life?
Somewhat. I
Somewhat.
kind of really the only thing that happens unless I'm like in a multiplayer server is I just do harvesting over and over again.
Oh yeah, that's one of the most fun parts.
Yeah, I just kind of harvest over and over and over. Except for like when I have buddies farming with me, sometimes we'll actually like go through the season
Yep.
and play on like our own personal server. But
Right.
that has that hasn't happened for a while. So um, I suppose that's about all I do anymore.
Yeah. So with an ag tech degree, with an ag technology degree, is that right?
Yep.
What kind of stuff do you think you've learned from your degree that you think Giants should incorporate into future games or modders should make into mods for the game?
Well, that's actually a good one. I think, well, their precision farming DLC was a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Um, it actually covered a lot of precision agriculture there. I think, well, one of the main things that everybody talks about is planting rows that actually follow the planter.
Mm-hmm.
That's a main thing. I think, well, they have yield monitors and they have all that. You can map your fields.
Mm-hmm.
Um, No, I'm not actually sure. I think they pretty much covered a lot of it. And I this is my first year in college, so I haven't learned
Right.
like everything there is yet. So I might find something else down the road, but I think the extent of what I've learned about so far has actually been covered in their precision farming DLC.
No, that's really cool. And I haven't heard anybody mention the planting behind the rows, the planting specific rows in a while, but that's a really good one,
Yeah.
right? Because right now
Yep.
planters are they're like painters essentially. They just paint the
Yeah.
ground into, oh, this has been planted, this hasn't been planted. The rows aren't dynamic at all. They don't look like the way you planted them. They're just generic textures. And that would be really cool.
It would. Yeah.
Imagine if every plant calculated its growth rate based on its population, its sunlight, its surrounding areas, and you picked your spacing and you picked your population density. All
That
that
would
was
be
optional.
that would be amazing.
And based on the soil type too. Can you imagine?
Yep.
This is way out in left field, but if you really
Yeah.
want to go there, that'd be
Yeah.
amazing.
If they could sometime actually go all the way like that, that would be incredible. It would really just be it would be full on farming on
It
a
would.
computer.
Yeah, no, it really would. And I
It
think
would.
well, a lot of the stuff there is covered. A lot of coders, because that kind of stuff really ends up being in the hands of coders. And coding is
Yes.
difficult. Very few people can do it. It takes a lot of time. And I think we are very fortunate for a lot of the things we have right now.
Oh
But
yes.
if that ever if that ever becomes a possibility with which, where technology and where gaming is going, who knows, maybe it will be, but yeah, that'd be amazing. One of the things I've always wanted, just a small thing I've always wanted, is continuously growing plants instead of just plants that pop up in
Oh
segments.
yes. Yes, for sure.
Because I don't know, that kind of adds a layer to it, and it'd be really cool. It'd be because
It would.
it's awkward to just be driving past a field and then just see it pop up like, oh, we're in the next growth stage now. It's like, well, if this is a simulator game, my immersion was just totally ruined. So
Yeah, right.
gradually growing and maturing plants, that'd definitely be a wish of mine if I had to
Yes,
throw it out there.
that would make the game that would make the game quite a bit more realistic.
And I think
Um,
it's doable too. I mean, I don't know how, I'm not a game dev, but it seems doable.
it does. I think the one thing they really have to work out at this time is optimization
Yeah.
because I have a 1070
Mm-hmm.
and I still get quite a bit of game lag in spots. Um,
Yeah.
Even on Ravenport, I get game lag in spots. So
Mm-hmm.
and 19 was rushed out of the gates because if you like look in Giants Editor, they have stuff that says to do in transform groups. And there were base game errors when I first loaded the game up.
Oh my gosh.
We were all like, oh gosh, they made Americans look all trashy, and then
They did.
they didn't even finish the game.
I remember they said we're gonna have an American map at launch, and we got
Uh,
Ravenport.
I know the only American map that I really appreciated is Westbridge Hills.
Ooh, yeah.
FS13, the Titanium DLC was probably the best DLC they've ever released for Farming Simulator, in my opinion.
Ooh.
And I started playing 13 after it had been released, so
Mm-hmm.
I got to jump right into it. I'm a deer man, but
Yeah.
the case equipment was amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and the map was just beautiful. It really actually had an American feel to it. And these other maps, I mean, they Golden Crest, I don't know, Ravenport and Golden Crest, they just don't really feel as American as Westbridge Hills did.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Because how many maps did Farming Sim 19 launch with again?
It was it three?
I think it was. I want to say two, but I
Was
feel
it
like
more?
that's not enough. If there was a third,
Um,
because I remember,
it could have. Yeah, I can't remember. I think it probably actually. Well, I know two for sure.
yeah,
Uh,
I think,
Ravenport, and then what was the other one? Whatever that one, other one's called.
yeah, there was a European one that had like a lake right next to the dealership.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
if there was a third, I think, I don't know, but if there was a third one, I think it was extremely forgettable. But I mean, I think it's just a shame that a game like this, a game that almost entirely relies on you interacting with the map, only launched with 2 to 3.
Right.
I think that's an absolute crime.
Yeah.
I think the next game should have 3 minimum, probably 5.
Yeah.
Because like think
Oh
about
yeah,
it. Like farming is literally interacting with the world around you
it is.
constantly. And the maps have got to be the most important part, and I get it, like FS 13, 15, 17, whatever, you launch with 2 maps or what have you, but we're in the next generation of games here. We're not. This is a top selling franchise now. Farming Sim was one of the highest selling sims out there, of like the Sim
Right.
series. I
Right. It
think
is.
I think it's time. I hope they're using this extra year to really, or extra year or whatever it is, because we didn't get a Farming Sim 21. I hope they're
Yep.
using it to make more content and make better stuff and make the game deeper. Because when you think about it, like a game launching with only 2 maps, I know modders can do it. I know modders can do that, but this and that and whatever. But I don't think you should rely on your modders for all that stuff. It can take a while for them to get things done, and yeah, they absolutely didn't do America as much justice as they could have when they promised us an American map and gave us Ravenport. So
Right. Right. I agree fully on that. That kind of let us down there.
I don't know if they flew to California and drove to like one of the neighboring rural like towns and just took some pictures and then flew back to Germany and made it off that,
They must have.
because it's just
uh,
that's
what?
yeah.
Why didn't they go to the Midwest?
Oh, the Midwest doesn't exist. You as a Midwesterner
Uh,
should know this.
I suppose, yeah, it's a flyover state, but I think kind of the main reason too was,
Yeah.
well, where's their American office at?
I don't
I
know.
think I'm not sure, but I think it's because California actually has the highest percent of, farmland out of any state.
Right.
is actually that's actually in California, and it varies quite a bit what they grow. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
your traditional corn and soybeans. It's a
Yeah.
lot of different things that can work in that climate. So I suppose they thought, oh, biggest biggest amount of farmland, let's go there.
Yeah. I
When
mean,
when in reality, um, that's not your traditional. Well, I guess to me it's not traditional farming because I'm used to just your regular corn and soybeans. But
right, but that's not, yeah, because proportionally, there's a lot more corn, soybean, and wheat field in America than there is in California. California may have the most individually, but
right,
by and large, they're missing out on the Midwest farming experience, which is an absolutely massive portion of American farming. So,
it is. It's completely different from what they gave us.
yeah. Like, I've played, I think Forza Horizon 1 did a better job of showing off American farming than Ravenport did. Do you know the
If,
game I'm talking about?
yeah, I've heard of it.
It's
I
like
think so.
it's kind of a small tangent, but it was a like a music festival slash racing game. It was like Forza Motorsport but open world, and they set it in Colorado, and they did a better job of showing off the vast sweeping plains of American agriculture in like an open world racing game than Farming Sim did with Ravenport. So
Oh
I
boy.
think that's kind of funny, but
Yeah, that is funny.
yeah, it's just funny. So anyway, we're about at time. So how about you share with people where we can find what you do, what you're making, where can we see your content?
Yeah, so my main page, well, my Facebook page for modding, and not so much modding at the time, but where I do post my farm sim mods and all that, I have a pinned post. That is Ross W Modding. You can
Mm-hmm.
find that on Facebook. I also have an Instagram page. It's called Rosso de Basso. That was nickname somebody gave me,
Nice.
uh, which I can send you how that's spelled and all that.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
and then of course my main YouTube channel is just Ross W, where I post all of our whatever's going on the farm. And if you're even interested, I also have a account on Railroad Picture Archives where I actually do quite a bit of rail fanning in my free time when I'm not on the farm, and
Ooh.
I post all my railroad photography on that page as well.
Yeah.
So,
Fun. Definitely go
yep,
check that out, guys.
a lot of
Uh,
South Dakota railroads in there.
oh yeah, for
Yep.
sure. I've seen one of your pictures. They look really nice.
Oh yeah. Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah.
Yep.
So as for me, I am Roosta. I run Rooster Mods. You can find me on Facebook on facebook.com/roostermods. You can find this channel on facebook.com/In The Endrows. And you can also go, obviously, to this channel, YouTube, In The Endrows. You should definitely subscribe to see future content. I plan on talking to a lot more fun people, maybe even doing some expanded sorts of content in the future. So, yeah, all right. Thank you very much for joining me today, Ross. It was a pleasure having you.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
All right, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later.